Yeah. Yeah. That's, yeah. Yeah. This is really still very hard for me to be like so far away. For a small group, I would like pull a chair up and, but that's what we did last Saturday morning for services, because it's outside and it's a little easier outside. We just kind of made a circle and I had a chair right in the middle and just sat with everybody. It was sweet. But we went inside because we heard about possible flash flooding. So, yeah, right. So we're going to be a little careful. Right. It's windy out now? Yeah, so that's always a hard time with the microphones. Then it becomes that much harder. Right. Well, we'll wait just a couple of minutes. Lynn, how is married life? Oh, he's away already. Back to playing? Oh, good. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that. Good. That's good. Ah, it's okay. Yeah, yeah. All right. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you. Well, I hope it'll be okay that we're going to be inside tonight. We heard about a flash flood warning, and so we thought we would bring it inside. That would be a hard thing to anticipate in our tent. We know we have some friends online, and we have some friends here, and so we're going to continue as we always do. Let's begin on page 128 in our prayer book. Page 128. Nefeshav harachaman, Yedi nefeshav harachaman, Nishochavdecha, Eretzonecha. משוכבתך, ילללייל רצונך. ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל, ישתחווה אל מול עדרך. Back to the beginning, 128. ידיד נפשיו הרחמן, ידיד נפשיו הרחמן, משוכבתך אל רצונך, משוכבתך ילללייל רצונך. Wonderful. A nice way to begin. Let's turn back in our prayer book 120. If you have a prayer book, whether you're here or at home and folks are online and you're looking at the prayer book, we're following if you have a thinner prayer book, we're following the page numbers that are in blue brackets. The pages in blue brackets. We're going to continue with lighting Shabbat candles in our Kiddush. So I am going to take off my guitar. Let's turn to 120. You can join along with me. Hi, friends. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushenu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. We'll invite you to rise if you are able. Kiddush is on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta V'yotanu kindashta Mikol hamim V'shabbat kodshecha V'yava uvratzon Inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. You can return to your seats. Let's turn forward. Page 138 and 139. Lecha Dodi, the prayer of our mystics. We welcome the Sabbath bride into our midst. We'll sing together the first 5 stanzas. After the 5th one, we jump to the very last one, the 9th one, and then together we'll say, Boi V'Shalom, page 138. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor chayrish miyanu El HaMeyuchad Adonai Echad U'Shmo Echad Yeshem U'Tiferet Le'Tilah. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lecho v'nerchaki imekor ha'beracha meirosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei metoch hafecha rav lach shevet v'yemeka b'chaveru yachamo alayichem lav. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitna'ari me'afakumi livshi b'dei tifatechami al gad ben Ishai beit halachni korva el nafshi ge'ala. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi v'hikat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri ki va'oreku we can return to our seats. Shalom Aleichem is on page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Let's turn 144. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, V'yalmad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, V'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, Bagala, u'v'zman kariv, v'yimeru Amen. Yesh Me'Rabba Mevarach, Le'alam Ulal Me'al Maya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei T'kunisha, Berechu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'yimeru Amen. Yai ya la la ya la ya la la. Yai la 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 ya la 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 la. Yai ya la la la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 ya la 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 la. Yai ya la la la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 ya la ya la la. Baruchu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach Le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Let's turn the page. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom u'mevin laila, umavdil ben yom u'ven laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. On 151. Join with me. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We turn the page. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You can return to your seats, and we turn the page. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meotecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha ve'ayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam amzuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem Emet. 158. La la chamocha. Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Torati loro sefele. Torati loro sefele. Malechotecha ra'u vanecha. Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe. Ze'elianu ve'amiru. Ze'elianu ve'amiru. Adonai ilo le'olam va'ed. Adonai ilo le'olam va'ed. Yallai, 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 160. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. 164. Let's move into the tefillah together. We rise if we're able. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. You can be seated. On 173, let's read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. A prayer of gratitude on 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer our thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. And now a prayer for peace, 178. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam. Let's take some time, our own private prayer, our own breath, our own silent reflections. If you need a text to follow along, you can look at 180 and 181, choose a reading to reflect upon, or just take some of your own personal time. Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma. Shalom aleinu, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael. After those prayers for peace, we think of friends, family, strangers, folks around the world who are in the midst of their own struggles, So we say a mishaberach, a prayer for healing and wholeness. It's on page 371 in the middle of the page. We think of those in the midst of all kinds of struggles. And our prayer is for a healing of body and a healing of soul. Those challenges that people might see, and those are invisible to the world. For all of them, we hold into our hearts. We share a little strength and a whole lot of love and a prayer for healing and wholeness. If you'd like to share the name out loud, whether you're online or here in the sanctuary, you can just call them out. We'll join you in this prayer. If you're thinking of someone, if you want to say it for yourself, you should feel free. So let's take those names, hear them. We'll pause, and then we'll say a mishaberach together. And a breath. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Oi, Gewalt. By the way, Holly returns next Shabbat. Not that I'm paying attention. If anybody's paying attention, it's you guys. So I want to tell you something about the Torah portion for today. The Torah portion for this Shabbat, it's called Ekev. Ekev means because. It's not a great word to begin a Torah portion, but there's a lot of pieces in here. But before I kind of share this one little line of Torah with you, I want to tell you that Simone Biles is my new rabbi. We all know who I'm talking about. This incredible, amazing human being who's a gymnast. Well, I am determining, and I've already told her, that she's my rabbi. She's an incredible athlete, to be sure, but she's my new rabbi because she is courageous, and because in so many ways she's a role model. But a role model not just for sport. A role model not because of gymnastics, because I don't really watch gymnastics, My family's watching gymnastics, and I'm responding to the emails from my vacation. It's because she's a role model, I believe, for what really matters. She's a trailblazer, and she's a mensch. If you don't know what a mensch is, if you look it up, according to the world, according to Fred Green, a world is an authentic human being, a real person, nothing plastic or phony about her. As folks are watching the Olympics, she recognized that she was feeling just this tremendous stress and anxiety, perhaps in her own space. And she knew it, and she owned it, and she talked about it. Simone Biles was the only one competing who endured, at least as far as people know, who endured the sexual assault of a USA Gymnastics so-called doctor. She publicly criticized USA Gymnastics for its years of failure to act on complaints against this doctor. And she returned to compete because, according to her, if there weren't a remaining survivor in the sport, they would have just brushed it to the side. So she took it on. It's no wonder that she felt, in her words, that she had the weight of the world on her shoulders at times. That's what she posted on Instagram. Simone Biles showed us a few lessons. I want to talk about one, but I have to mention the other two. One lesson, quoting another journalist, her name is Monica Torres, she says that Simone Biles refused to be a work martyr, which I just love. A work martyr, I never heard of the term before. Work martyrdom is an affliction in which you cannot stop sacrificing your own best interest for the needs of others at work, at a company, or in her case, on a team. And second, she taught us that mental health is connected to our physical health. As she was feeling whatever it was that she was feeling, it could not only impact her score, but she would not be able to safely conduct herself in competition. And so she pulled out of the competition. Reminds me of Hillel, doesn't it? If I am not for myself, who will be for me? Now we have some other examples of this second lesson that she's been teaching us. Naomi Osaka withdrew from the French Open recently after refusing to participate in mandatory media sessions, citing her own mental health challenges. I don't watch tennis, but I watched her. The organizer fined her $15,000 for not attending this media session, and the Grand Slam board warned her that she might be suspended in the future. She said that she often felt that people have no regard for the athlete's mental health. Osaka chose to refuse to compete. She revealed that she had dealt with bouts of depression, and none of this was good for her, an introvert. I feel for these women and others who are challenged by public's feelings of entitlement to have unfettered access to their everything. Everything. Certainly, even their health for our entertainment. And they're pushing back at the prevailing myth that to be the best, you have to compromise everything. Everything that is important to you. So now, to the Torah. What's the Torah that I'm thinking of for this? I couldn't run away from their stories and their modeling, because in this week's Torah portion in Ekev, we read that if we love God and walk God's ways, there are going to be many, many blessings. I happen to believe that's true. But there's a challenging text if we were to take it literally, which I believe we should not. I'm going to say that again, in case you didn't hear me. We're not always meant to take the text literally. Now, I know I have rabbi friends and colleagues and pastors too who are going to disagree with that statement, but we can argue about it someplace else. I still believe that there's a truth here. In verses 14, 15, right at the beginning of the Torah portion, it says that you'll be more blessed than all the peoples, and God will turn away every illness. I wish, because God loves me, and I believe God loves even me. So certainly God's going to love you. And if that's true, God's going to turn away every illness. Bring it. I'm ready. But I think there's poetry here, not a literal message. Dr. Richard Elliott Friedman, perhaps one of the greatest Bible scholars in the world, still at the University of Georgia, which I have to ask him about, he looks at the word Baruch, blessed, and in the Torah's context, it generally refers to being well off. That's the context. He says here it is explicitly connected to good health. So when it says that Israel be more blessed than other peoples, if they keep their covenant, it does not mean, he says, that Israel will have some special status, but rather it means that God will bless them with well-being. If you keep the covenant, you will have well-being. I am going to take that to mean that if we live good lives, if we live righteously, with integrity, with our whole selves, we will have well-being. And I think of Simone Biles, living with her whole self, her physical self and her mental health. And when something isn't quite in balance, we need to go and find others to help us restore the integrity, which isn't perfection. It is a sense of wholeness. When the Torah has a letter that is missing, scraped, damaged, hurt, we restore the Torah's integrity by bringing a sofer to restore its fullness. But we have such a hard time thinking that confusing wholeness with perfection. And I share it as often as I possibly can. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a life without pain. It means we can have well-being. Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, Serena Williams, Michael Phelps, amazing, incredible, world-class athletes who all have shared they deal with depression and anxiety. They've been revealing truths about themselves and their mental health and the choices that they've had to make in order to take care of themselves, and often be criticized for it. And yet by choosing health and integrity over medals, they get to pursue a greater balance and find more support around them, receive more love, and teach incredible lessons to the people around them and the people like me that will never ever meet them. Don't take it literally. God will turn away from you every illness. There's another piece of Torah that I want to share, and it goes back to the book of Genesis. because I think this shows how we often get trapped. In Genesis, we meet Lot. Lot and his family. They're living in a rough neighborhood in Sodom and Gomorrah. So they're living in Sodom, and these angels appear to Lot and the family, saying that they have to leave immediately because God is about to destroy these two cities. And so Lot takes his family and they run away, but part of this warning is that they cannot look backwards. They can't look back at the destruction. Otherwise, they're going to turn into a pillar of salt. And everybody runs away. But Lot's poor wife looks back, and she's transformed. She's transformed. So the question is why? We're not told why. Either she's curious or faces this horrible punishment because all she does is turn around and look back. Maybe God doesn't want her to see the destruction. Why? We all know that it's happening. We know there's violence, and frankly, they're more up close to violence than we are in the ancient world. What was really going on that there was going to be such a dire consequence of turning back? Curiosity doesn't settle it for me. This is what I think. And you have to remember that I believe that the Torah is teaching us a truth. And I'm a little uncomfortable with what I find in the truth because I don't believe in blaming victims. But I think that there's a message here. If we're going to learn the truth, it has to be more than about curiosity. Maybe she couldn't figure out how to forge ahead and choose a better path, a safer path. Maybe she got used to what was going on in Sodom, and some of it was okay. Maybe more carefully, I think she had a hard time looking forward to build a new future. She kind of got stuck in the past, and she couldn't break away with all of the old myths and tricks and training that we all get, the myths that hold us back. And it kept her there in a place, and she became a part of it. I actually think God is telling us to choose life, go forward like Abraham does, not like Lot's wife, looking backwards and getting stuck. Easier said than done for all of us. But if you need help to unlock that door, I think one response is our faith. But if you need more help than faith, I have a great referral list that I've been working on. If Simone Biles was physically hurt, she broke her ankle, people would celebrate her. We should be celebrating her decisions now, out front and in public, and celebrating her courage. We need to view her mental health care as seriously as her physical health care. Michael Phelps, that Olympic gold medal swimmer, has been very open the last 5-6 years or so about his own bouts of depression and is making commercials encouraging people to get treatment. And one of the things he says over and over and over again, it's okay to not be okay. We all need to ask for help, friends. We're all entitled to God's blessings. We all have to face the chaos and the voids that are embedded in God's creation. And we have people to look to who are living with the hard stuff. It's not just us. And I don't think we're ever alone. So what can we do? Maybe if we're a little bit more fortunate, well, let's make some tzedakah. Let's support the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Let's look at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Tell a friend about the spiritual support group that's here in our synagogue for people living with mental health challenges and their families around them. Let's take a mental health first aid class. Everyone in our congregation, in our county, should be taking first aid classes and mental health first aid classes. Let's consider how our faith community can be a brave space, can contribute to your well-being, others' well-being, and how we can walk with God along the way. Our health matters, all of it. Mental health, physical health, spiritual health, it all matters. And you're worthy of being content and of being loved and of finding goodness and to be happy and strong. So, thank you, Rabbi Biles. We've learned a good lesson from you. I'm going to join your shul. I'll tell you what that means, and then we can walk in God's ways together. 586. Alinu L'Shabeach is at the bottom paragraph of that page. 586, remember in blue brackets, we rise if we are able.
Alinu L'Shabeach Ladon HaKol, La'atei Gedula Liyotzeh Bereshit, Shelo Asanu Kogayei HaRatzot, Velo Samanu K'mishpachot Adama, Shelo Sam Chalkenu Kahem, V'goralenu Kechol Hamonam, V'anachnu Korim, Umishtachavim Umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We turn the page. Shehu noteh shamayim veyoser haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchinatu zo b'govhei meromim. Hu Eloheinu einot, emet malkeinu efes ulato, kakatuv betorato, V'yadata yom v'hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, v'yal mitachat einot, v'ne'emar Vayadonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Page 598. You can be seated for a moment. Zichronam levracha. We think of our loved ones whom we have lost and loved in this season and years past, and those in recent days. If you'd like to share the name of someone, if you're in a period of mourning, we invite you to share that name out loud, and we'll continue with additional names from the community. Yeah, Wayne. We also remember in that period of Shloshim, those first 30 days, Carol Adams, the mother of Joshua Putterman, Marty Moed, the uncle of Jane Zirkin, for those yard sites during this week that has passed. We remember Isaac Arudi Ergas, George Werner, E. Robert Ellison, Sarah Handelman Kasoy, Adam Silverman, Stanley Warrench, Herman Hoffman, Gladys Paisner, Daniel Lipson, Fred Kasprinsky, Beth Tatelman, Benjamin Levine, Erwin Bramson, Irene Bain, Ann Hausman, James Pagter, Robert Malcolm Loomish, Laura Karsh, Norma Turner, Joanne Muller, Barbara Green, Sarah Kornblatt, William Goodman, Morton Lewis, Babe Matisoff, Fred Widow, Joseph Gary Ametin, Joseph Wigato, Catherine Lefko, Martha Price, Arlene Zucker, Ethel Browdy, Gertrude Gould. 598 words of Kaddish. For those who are able and choose, we rise together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'meru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam olmei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei d'kodesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'meru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'meru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimeru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort to the bereaved here and everywhere. We all say Amen. You can return to your seats. Our closing prayers, it's not in the Siddur, but we've been doing it a lot in these last couple of years, and think again how we need to keep saying it. Olam chesed yibaneh, olam chesed yibaneh, repeats itself, and then it continues, I will build this world from love, and you must build this world from love, and if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love. Olam chesed yibaneh, Olam chesed yibaneh, Yalalai, Yalai. Chesed yibaneh, yalalai, yalalai, olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, yalalai, olam chesed yibaneh. I will build this world from love. And you must build, and you must build this world from love. And if we build, this world from love, chesed yimane Yalalai Olam chesed yimane Yalalai We wish you a Shabbat Shalom. For everybody here and online, a gentle Shabbat. We appreciate those who came inside. We heard about possible flash flooding, so we brought you inside. Tomorrow's Torah study and services are going to be back in the tent by the south building as long as the temperature and weather is manageable. So we wish you a gentle and a good and restful Shabbat. Good Shabbos. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Take good care of yourself. Ugh. Yeah, of course she would, yeah. Maybe she told me to do it. Too. Yeah, we're all hanging in there. Hope you are too. Hey, Jeff. The woman that you're seeing who's always on the screen? Nancy. Karen? It's Karen. Okay, just asking. Because I always see, so Karen. Got it. Yeah, I know. I remember that. So it's 2 years. It's 2 years. Amazing. Golly. Yeah. Yeah. You've been here like 6. Yeah. I know. 6 years. So I feel blessed. Yeah. Parents really. Yeah. He has a loving heart like that. Yeah. Very different, of course. But I feel grateful that I get a second chance. I pray about that all the time, about blessing. So, the finding was so hard to find somebody. I went through really hard. Obviously, remember. And going through that period. I'm glad you found it, and that it's going well for you. Good. Good to see you. Good to see you. Bye. 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 You did? Yeah. I even have a video if you want to see it. Yeah. I sent it to all. She was really excited. Oh. That's fantastic. Depends on the mezuzah. They're all, some, I've had some where you just kind of, there's like just a space inside of it. Some will have like a tube. Some people will wrap it like in, like for cooked food, like cellophane. Like if you don't want it to, if you want to, come to think of it, if I had some outside
that it just had like a space. It wasn't like a closed container kind of a thing. And I would wrap it up in like a plastic wrap.
I'm reading it off my phone, which is like
So what?
tacky.
Yeah.
And then
Double-sided tape.
it's an apartment.
Oh, that's a pretty one.
So yeah, I did that. I need to put one up. I just want to tell something.
I'm so glad you told me. I think it's great. How'd it feel?
It was really exciting. It felt more like my apartment once I put it up. I mean, I'm sharing it with people and they're like cool with having that stuff. But I was like, oh, this is my room. It's my mezuzah from my apartment spot.
That's awesome. Is this like the first time you have like your own place?
Yeah. I mean, I'm renting, thus the double-sided tape.
Yeah, sure. Fine.
Because I can't just
Yeah,
put
yeah.
it in the wall, but
Yeah.
oh, it's exciting. I just thought I'd share.
It's a wonderful thing to do, you know, and for the first time like that. That's great.
It felt like a bigger milestone than I expected.
What do you think about that?
I was like, I don't know, it's just not a first time I really thought about. Because I know I'm probably going to move out there and it won't be as special as the first time. Okay, I really love talking, but I have to like run to the other side and let's see you.
Go do your thing. Thank you for sharing. Good. I'm glad. Hello. Thanks for sitting out there, folks.